welcome to number 3 of our preview of our future documentary. In 2021, we're going to be shooting a documentary about which is called In the Footsteps of Isabella Bird. Now, Isabella Bird in 1879 came and visited Malaya, and she wrote this book called The Golden Chersonese and the Way Thither. And you know I love the word thither, at least you should by now. And so we're going to be following her footsteps, and we're going to be comparing and contrasting. Now then, she after Malacca, she went up the coast to Sungai Ujong. Sungai Ujong. This is in Negri Sembilan, and Negri Sembilan is the 9 states. These are an extraordinary little enclave of Minangkabau settlers who came in from Sumatra. Well, the British put a resident in there, and she went off to stay with them. But the journey was pretty much of a nightmare journey, wasn't it?
That's right. Of all the journeys described in the book, this was the worst one of the lot. There was no pleasure to be taken in this journey. And so when Isabella writes, of course, she's writing place names based on what she can hear. And they don't necessarily match with what I can find on Google Maps. So I want to describe this journey to you and hope that you'll be able to direct me to the appropriate locations. So I just have to put my glasses on and read this so that I get everything correct. Lawrence is a stickler for correctness. Okay. So this journey, it was 60 miles and it took 36 hours. 36 hours of continuous travel. So she started on a steam launch up the coast from Malacca and turned into the Lingi River. So that bit was pretty straightforward.
I think it was 36 hours with a couple of bored teenagers. That was really the main problem, wasn't it?
Yes, so the governor of Malacca suggested that Isabella take his 2 young daughters with her. She could not refuse, although she would have preferred to have gone by herself. And these 2 daughters were not used to travel, so they were not good company for her. So her first stop was the Sembang police station, and then a bit further up the river to Pematang Pasir police station. Now I think I can figure out where Sembang police station is. I'm not quite so sure about Pematang Pasir police station. We have a drawing from her book of Pematang Pasir police station, which I'll show you. So what's special about police stations? Why does she keep stopping at police stations?
Right, when the residency system was established, the first thing the residents did was to try and create some sort of police force in order to control the rivers, because that had been one of the main problems of the region, was that all the little village heads had their own section of the river, and they kept charging people to pass through that, or they shot them essentially. There was a case of a guy in Penang who used to sit on the riverside just shooting at anybody in a boat, making sure he always shot one person, particularly if they were Europeans. So that didn't go down well. But we're not dealing with Pahang in this story.
Focus, Lawrence.
We're focusing on what was happening up Sungai Ujong area. So we'd like to know, are there any of these police stations, or at least the areas in which these police stations were, where there's some sort of marker, some sort of a plaque, or even the remains of any of these old buildings?
Yes, well, I mean, we're not actually expecting to find these old buildings in themselves, because most of them were just wooden buildings with atap roofs, so they're not really likely to be there any longer.
So, but it would be nice to be able to go and film something of that nature vaguely in that area, so that we can do a bit of our narrative then.
Yes. Now, by the time she got to Pematang Pasir police station, one of the young ladies travelling with her was very, very ill, and Isabella didn't think that it would be appropriate to try and nurse her to health in this police station, so she insisted that they continue travelling. But the travel arrangements had all gone wrong, so they were supposed to be travelling overland now at this stage of their journey, but that wasn't possible. They'd have to get back on the river, and it seems that the boatman, quite reasonably, did not want to travel by night. It's dark, you can't see where you're going.
Full of crocodiles.
Yeah, it's full of crocodiles, full of sandbanks. So that was sort of 16 hours, that bit of the journey, until she got to somewhere where she could get land transport. Okay, so land transport for Isabella was either on the back of an elephant, on the back of a pony, or in a
What they call a gharry.
what they called a gharry, is like a horse and cart kind of contraption. And she was stopped on the river at a place called Nioto. She spells it Nioto, and I think the closest I can get to that is a place called Nyatoh. If anyone can confirm or deny this would be really useful, because we would like to end up at the right locations. Following from Nioto, she continued by buggy to a place called Rasa, and she spelt this Rassa. I think this is now Rasah. I found a Taman Rasajaya. If that's likely to be the place, I'd really be interested to hear from you. And then eventually she finally ends up at the British residency in Seremban. So what do we know about that one, Lawrence?
Nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Basically nothing. We want to know where it is, what it looks like, where it was, and any signs of the British residents in Semban, was it?
Seremban.
Seremban. So we're looking for the history of that region. She did meet a guy called Dato Bandar, which does sound like a sort of corruption of Bandahara, so which means the main minister of the place. So I'm not sure she actually gives us this real name.
But that wasn't in Seremban, that was in a place called Mambo.
That's in Mambo, near Seremban.
Yeah, so we need to know exactly where. Oh, Mambu.
Mambu.
Mambu is.
Yes, we want to know where Mambu is, where probably the Bendahara used to be. Part of the interesting thing about the history, most of the people that she met were quite flaky characters with rather dark pasts, or at least a penchant for dipping their fingers into the till and running off with the money instead of building the roads that they said they were building. And we'll come to that later on.
Yes, now we've never actually been to Seremban.
Yeah.
We have driven through Negeri Sembilan and we have visited quite a few locations there, but we've never been to Seremban. So if you know of any place of special historical interest in Seremban, more specifically if it's to do with the late 1800s, but other than that we really don't mind. We're just interested in any historical location.
Leave your comments down below, like, subscribe and share, and also hit the notification bell. And that's it, isn't it?
Yes,
Right, so thank you. Thank you for watching, if you have.